Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Podcast with me, your host, Freddie Hall. Welcome on Sky with me tonight to preview the divisional round going into this weekend. The NFL is really heating up. The divisional round, it's coming, and then it'll be the championships, and then it's a little bit of a wait, and then it's going to be the Super Bowl. It is a mega exciting time of year for NFL UK, and for us definitely here at the Franchise Tag Podcast. Hope you all enjoyed our episode earlier on in the week, which reflected more on the losers. However, today we are going to reflect on the winners, and we have got one person here with us that has a winning team that is going to be in the divisional round, which will be very exciting for him. So just to recap, the teams that won in the wildcard weekend, the Rams beating the Panthers 34-31. The Packers losing to the Bears 31-27. The Bills beating the Jags 27-24. The 49ers beating the Eagles 23-19. The Patriots beating the Chargers 16-3. And the Texans beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-6. That has given us 4 fixtures for this weekend, spreading Saturday into Sunday. Saturday, January 17th, we have at 9:30 kicking off. The Bills going to the Denver Broncos. We then have into the morning at 1 a.m. the San Francisco 49ers facing the Seattle Seahawks. Then Sunday evening, 8 o'clock, January 18th, the Houston Texans are going to Boston to face the New England Patriots. And then on to 11:30 to cap off the weekend onto the championship. We will be, at this point, it will be the LA Rams playing the Chicago Bears. We're going to focus, though, on the first of the AFC fixtures, which is the Denver Broncos against the Buffalo Bills. Broncos at Mile High. Buffalo going to go there. Haven't played each other this season. Bills beat the Jags to progress, as we know. This is their 6th consecutive year getting to the divisional now, and they've only progressed to the championship twice, which was in 2020 and 2024. And who'd they lose to?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. I'm still just enjoying this Josh Allen ride that we've got going on, but it's great now that Denver has entered the chat. You know, they sit out a week. This is the criticism I may give, I think, to Seattle as well. I think potentially the bye was almost bad for both teams.
Yeah. I mean, there's been many years where I think one of the most famous ones is Colts had a bye and were unbeaten like early 2010s and lost to the Jets I know that's mad to say, but we've seen this in the past. Packers have had some successful years and gone out early, and I think with the Broncos, they're probably, for me, that's the hardest game to pick, Fred. I think that is the toughest of the 4, because no matter what, I think when you look at the teams, you make a case for probably the Broncos being better in 70% of areas, right, across the roster, but it's the Josh Allen factor. And, even me saying as a Patriots fan, this is like his legacy run, right? If he doesn't win it, we've already established this on other episodes. If he doesn't win it, the narrative will be, well, there was no Lamar, Burrow, or Mahomes, and you couldn't get it done. Yeah. And I think he's mindful of that. They all, block out the noise. But it is really like a chance for him to sort of cement it'll be legacy in Buffalo because it'll be their first Lombardi, but legacy in terms of his playoff numbers have always been great. They've just been let down in areas. I don't think he's ever let this franchise down in the postseason other than his first start, but that happens a lot with young guys. So, I'm interested. I think the Broncos are in danger of being one and done. And I wouldn't have said that until that loss against the Jags. You know how high I've been on Denver all year.
It's a little bit of the experience factor as well, isn't it? If you look at, Denver haven't been in the divisional since 2015. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. And that was also the last time they had a first round bye as well. Okay, they have experience factor in Sean Payton. Sean Payton with New Orleans from 2013 to 2021 had 4 times. They went to the divisional 4 times, and they got that with a first round bye in 2018. So he and a lot of his coaching staff have done this before and have been there before. Not many people on this roster have. Nearly none of them have within this roster. I mean, there's got to be probably a few defensive players that they have. I mean, Hufanga, I suppose, the safety. But then offensive-wise, maybe 1 or 2 of the O-linemen, maybe?
Maybe J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens. I don't know, maybe on the Ravens.
J.K. Dobbins on the... Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, he was definitely on the Ravens. But then again, his injury history...
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't even play.
They're receiving calls like ours, right? In terms of, well, I say ours, the Patriots one, in terms of it's a lot of, unless it's your team, there's not a lot of household names. In Troy Franklin's obviously got the Oregon connection with Bo Nix. There's Mims, there's other guys, but it's not offense where you go through names and you think, oh, there's household guys there. The thing with Sean, I can't believe I've changed so much on Denver, because all season I've been saying going to Mile High, one of, if not the toughest place to go. But yeah, that loss to the Jags, and then the fact that the Bills have beaten the Jags. I know every matchup's different, but Sean Payton, again, as great as a head coach as he is, that time with the Saints, like the 2 losses to the Vikings, the Miracle of Minneapolis,
Miracle of Minnesota, Minneapolis Miracle. Sorry,
yeah, that one.
Your player.
The Ram, yeah, but let's hope Diggs does that this weekend. I mean, I don't want to go to the last play, but that the game where obviously it was a blown call against the Rams, but like I think that also plays into your mind as a coach as well. I feel the same about Shanahan on the Niners. I think he is. We all know he's a top 3 head coach in the league, but there are some who, when you start to have, it's the same as players. If you can't get over the line, maybe start to question your own play calls when it's a 3-point game in the 4th quarter, because some old memories start flooding in, as opposed to where other coaches have been, and they're a bit more free flowing with it. Like McVay doesn't ever seem phased.
You sort of hit the nail on the head though, but you didn't portray it in this way. It is a narrative storyline though, isn't it? Denver loses this game. Bo's first time. It is Bo's first time. They didn't get there last year, did they?
They lost. They were 1 and done, but to the Bills.
Yes, they were 1 and done. Sorry.
Ooh. I think they had because I remember they had that big shootout with the Bengals, and then they got in, but they didn't do well. Yeah, they lost 31-7
to the Bills.
Yeah.
Really? I did not think about looking about the history of that. In fact, I looked at the history. I looked at their season history and didn't spot that, which is
I remember the game
bad from me, because I'm pretty good at that sort of stuff usually.
Yeah, usually you're the recency guy and I'm the old man.
Yeah. But circling back to the narrative thing of it, you would go with it's Denver team's building. It's building. More experience for Bo. More experience for this whole team. Like you said, the household names on the wide receiving core could get better. O-line could get better. Defense could just get reinforced. But then if Buffalo don't win this, you're suddenly again, no Pat Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar, not done it again. Couldn't do it. Didn't get to the big game. The head coach, Sean McDermott, gets suddenly, that becomes a bit of a hot seat guy in a way. And actually, if it wasn't for the departures of Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh this year, I think people would go, he's on the hot seat a little bit now. But actually now you go, they could fire him straight up. Like that could just legit happen now, because we've seen around the league that it's a little bit of a shift. They're starting to become this shift, I think, amongst the whole of the league that's going from not the old era, because I don't think McDermott is like old, so to speak, but like a more traditionalistic style to maybe a bit more of a younger, more vibrant style, I suppose. So that's got to play a factor as well. And I mean, it's not the only factor. The big thing is the Bills have been a phenomenal run team this season, but they're going against the best rushing defense in the league. And then the Broncos have been a fairly good top 10. In fact, they're top 11th in passing yards for this season. So they're a pretty decent throwing team against the best pass defense. And I'm going to be like saying this a lot. These games, all 4 will hinge on the turnover battle. Yeah. All 4. And we won't get, you're not going to get the Texans Steelers game where the Steelers turn the ball over 3 times and get 3 points. You're just not going to get that. It's going to be 1 interception or 1 fumble. It might even be 1 each, or it might be 2-1. Yeah. And it's about, can you convert on them? And more likely than not, they do, to be fair, because all 4 of these teams, I mean, AFC, what we're talking about at the moment, are really good teams. And they are all very, very capable of causing a lot of problems and really, punching you in the mouth if they get it their way.
Yeah, I think with Again, you've hit the nail on the head there. And when you were talking about the stretch, like this is what I know it's against us at state in the obvious. This is one of those classic matchups of who comes out on top when you put the strength v strength together. One of the best quarterbacks in the league against, like you said, the best defense, and then the weaknesses as well. I think the one good thing for Buffalo, which probably hasn't been talked about a lot, is the O-line is doing well. So that should negate some of Denver's pass rush. There's obviously a lot of talent there where they can still do it. But this is probably the one matchup, when we were, yes, it's nice that the Broncos got the bye, but a lot of people don't talk about these things like, I know the Chargers were banged up. I'm not just saying it because we beat them, but I think there was an element that the Chargers wanted to play the Patriots. I saw loads of Chargers fans on Reddit being like, weak schedule. Doesn't matter that we're banged up, play them. And I bet you the Broncos thought when Trey Lance started, oh yeah, great, we've got the bye, but now we might have to play the Bills because that's probably the one team they don't want to play. I think they'd be fine against probably anyone else because the defense could dictate to play games on their terms. But I think the Bills, just with Josh Allen, if they can get up early, they're obviously not going to do what they did to them last year and win by 24 points. But they would need Bo Nix to play lights out to keep up with Josh Allen if he plays the way that he did last week against Jacksonville.
This is probably going to go against everything that you really believe. But if Denver wins this, they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's winning in for them
because they proved that they are not, because they've had schedule questions as well. A lot of
they've been inconsistent. We saw them in London, and they were not good.
It was all defense. It was like over 10 sacks we saw. It was a crazy game, wasn't it? It was that one against
the Jets game.
Yeah.
And then we had that 45-minute press conference with Sean Payton, who is getting slammed this week for his press conference. But we both walked out on that and went, wow, that is incredibly generous time. And he was
taking time because he's in London. Yeah.
Oh, he was there. We were there for about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. It was a long press conference.
I said to you, even in the week, the media availability at Tottenham was great. Like he was there for Bo Nix's press conference. I get it. You're protecting your own quarterback. He was there for 6 minutes. Sean Payton, I'm pretty sure I got like a 36-minute record of him talking about when he was overplaying in the 80s, stories. It was great. But that all ties into, I'm sure he'll be telling his players, not it's just another game, but, apparently they've tried to recreate a playoff environment by starters v starters in training last Friday.
It feels like Mikel Arteta playing You'll Never Walk Alone, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's ramping it up. But yeah, I just think the offense, like you said, it's been inconsistent. It has to be better if they're to go on a run. And I think as much as I've been high on the Broncos, probably if we go back, I feel like I've always said make the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'd win the Super Bowl.
I agree on that completely.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't say they'd win. If they win this, they win the Super Bowl. I don't.
Bills, Pats, and Texans probably would all have a better chance in the Super Bowl because they've got better X factors. Texans defense, Drake May, Josh Allen. More Drake May, Mike Vrabel is the hybrid in that. I think that's
I can get where you're coming from with that. We will keep going on about it, I'm sure, later on, but I just think that NFC is a bit more overpowered at the minute. Yeah.
I think most people throughout the season have probably said, regardless of what happens, the NFC team will win. But then we say that we'll come on to them, but Niners are banged up. Seahawks have Sam Darnold, don't mean to be harsh. And the Bears, young team as well. So I think if it's any of those, then there's maybe a case for an AFC team. If it's the Rams, you're probably going to get 90% of people picking the Rams.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Broncos, back to the point, need to be better offensively, especially in this game. But if it all clicks in this game, Fred, you're right. If it clicks offensively and they beat the Bills, why would they not win next week, no matter who they play out of the Pats and the Texans? Because they've probably overcome their biggest obstacle.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I know the train is on the tracks with it. We both were on that train last week. And I don't think either of us are probably willing to get off train just yet. I just can't quit. I can't quit Josh Allen. I can't quit him. I've seen what he can do. And he's proven to me what he can do. And it's why I'm siding with the Bills in this. And I think that narrative of that all these quarterbacks are not, all these teams and quarterbacks are not in the playoff picture this year. This is their one true hope, their one true go, because truthfully, they've not got the depth as they're probably the most weak depth-wise team in the playoffs currently. And that's including the 49ers who are injury ridden, because the guys who have come in have been really good. Like they've got 2 players out now as well. Jordan Poyer's out. Mm-hmm. And is it Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback? Yeah. He's the rookie, right?
Yeah, and I was also thinking about Gabe Davis, not obviously as big, but he's injured on offense.
Yeah, but I just can't quit Josh Allen. That's why I think they're going to win. I think they might win this. I'm going to side with the Bills and say they win. It's a close game. I think it's going to be a very close, scrappy game.
I think it's the Bills, and I think Brandon Cooks. I mean, I know he's on arrival. He's been unlucky. He's obviously lost a Super Bowl with the Patriots, lost a Super Bowl with the Rams, but they've got him, and he's been a bit of an X factor in short catches, but like he's picked up the playbook quickly. He had that big 36 yards? There was a big catch he had, like a 36-yarder, obviously to sort of silence that Jags crowd. And I think that's something the Bills have maybe lacked throughout the season and in years gone by. But this happened. Saints done a nice thing, let him go. He signed on a contender. He's played on loads of teams in his career, and maybe because there's not enough tape on him in this offense, that is maybe better than trying to get like a Keon Coleman involved or something like that. So, I think Josh Allen's making it work, and as much as he said about defensive injuries, the offense is good. Knox, Kincaid, Shakir.
Yeah. I think ultimately, we've just said the Denver are a fantastic defense and Buffalo has a better offense. And I trust Buffalo to be able to change it up more and more accurately than I do probably, and this is unfair to some, than I do the Denver offense. I think the Denver Broncos defense can. I don't know whether the offense can. I don't know whether they can make them. I don't know. You're sticking with it. You're going to go the Bills as well?
Yeah, and it pains me because I don't like changing from something throughout the season, but I think it's just that the Broncos lost to the Jags, and then Adam brought the point up on one of our shows about how bad they were in that finale against the Chargers' second team, 0 for 3 in the red zone. I think that, and then you've had a week off, it's going to be rust. I think if the Bills get off to a hot start, like I said, it's not going to be a blowout again, but I think the Bills are going to put enough pressure on them scoreboard-wise where they'll get it done.
Let's get onto your favorite subject, obviously, which is the New England Patriots playing the Houston Texans, hosting them at Gillette Stadium. Also haven't played each other this season. Obviously, the Texans beating the Steelers last weekend and the Patriots beating the Chargers. Texans, they went to the divisional last year, but they lost to the Chiefs. And since DeMeco Ryan has arrived in 2023, they've been to the divisional round every season, but that's it. They've not gone any further. On the flip side of it, this is the first time in the divisional for the Patriots since 2018. What happened in 2018?
Won the Super Bowl against the Rams.
Won the Super Bowl, exactly. And then Vrabel's record at Tennessee from 2018 to 2023. He went to the divisional twice. He beat the Ravens, but they lost to the Bengals as well. So though the Patriots team at the minute might not have experience within this area, their head coach does. It's a little bit like we said with Denver and Sean Payton. I mean, I think this is a step too far for you guys. I do. I'm sorry to say that. I know you probably want me to sit here and be really pro-Patriots and everything like that. I just think the only caveat worry I have about the Texans is I'm just not that sure about their offense. They weren't like that good against the Steelers. Like they were good, but the score definitely flattered how good they were on offense. They weren't amazing.
Their stat that I saw was that the Texans became only the second playoff team in history to score multiple defensive touchdowns in a game without allowing one. The other one was the Bears in 1940.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Like, that just highlights exactly what you said, as in their offense didn't do much other than a couple of, Christian Kirk throwback catches.
You weren't going to call him by his other name.
I really stopped myself there. Yeah.
Oh,
Stephen
Stephen
A,
A.
you're
had a
watching, that's how
howler.
you
For
do
anyone
it,
who
mate.
doesn't know, go and watch it.
Did I unplug something? You can hear me.
I can hear you.
Perfecto.
I was just muting myself while I
No,
poured
mine
my
made the
water,
noise.
so I
I don't
didn't
know what.
make any listeners or viewers need to go
Turn
to
the
the bathroom.
protector for the video viewers. But while I'm doing this, the two I'm worried about: Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson. Obviously, Drake May had 2 fumbles or 2 turnovers. I'd like to hope that was just first game nerves because, like I'd said in our group chat, not even being, but the touchdown pass to Hunter Henry was unbelievable.
Unreal, yeah.
The touch between the linebacker and the second, like one of the best throws this season. And that just showed to me, okay, our defense kept us in the game or playing well to allow him to get over some early jitters. So I like to hope maybe second playoff start, things come to fruition and he has a cleaner game. I have said to you, maybe even when we've been on air and doing the other episodes, in terms of I'd always pick the Texans to win this game. But now that Nico Collins is in concussion protocol and Gonzalez has practiced, that is the difference maker for me because of what you said about the offense. I am worried about the Texas defense, but Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Christian Ellis, Spillane, even Marcus Jones had a few corner blitzes last week. I think we have playmakers on the defensive side as well. And when they've lost their best weapon, and then you have a wide receiver 2 against Christian Gonzalez, it just filters through nicely for us to scheme things up differently. So I'm now leaning towards
people forget. People are really, really big on the Texans defense because they are the second best defense in the league. You're the 4th. I don't think that gets talked about that much. You've allowed a lot of passing touchdowns, but rushing wise, you've not allowed any of that really. But the problem is that's not a big strength of the Texans offense. No. It's not like you're shutting that down, I suppose.
But they might try and do that now, actually. Even thinking now that Collins is out, they might go, okay, Woody Marks, Nick Chubb
played pretty okay when he was in for a few downs. Marks did go out the game though.
Yeah, I do love Chubb, given obviously before that big injury that he had. Unbelievable running back. Yeah.
You're meant to now pitch and tell me why you're going to win, surely.
The Texans are on a mad winning streak, no? Is it got to be double digits now?
I will check that whilst you're explaining because
Okay. That is number 1. The streak has to go. Our streak went, obviously, against the Bills, and I know it sounds like it can be a bit BS, wishy-washy. I think that was a good loss to have because we've cleaned things up since then. I think we're over the first playoff nerves now. That's another good plus. And like you said, like Milton Williams, he was worth the money. We saw that last week. We saw what he did for the Eagles. Like I was saying to you as well, when we did our episode the other day, talk about the Chargers, everyone was looking at, oh my God, Justin Herbert, O-line, this, and this. He had time, but our secondary blanketed a better receiving core against the Chargers. So I think my points are more coming from, I think our defense can step up to cause their offense more issues, even though their defense is better, because I believe in Drake May's ability more than CJ Stroud to make enough plays to get the win.
Yeah. They haven't lost since week 10, including the playoffs. They've won 9 on the bounce, which is pretty unreal, actually. That's not really been. I don't hear that getting talked about either. That is pretty unreal. But my big thing is I just think this team is a little bit inexperienced, and I said it last week about you guys. I said about you losing to the Chargers. I think this may be a season where it's not a fact. We can go bang on about scheduling and whatnot. Yeah. I'm a little bit sick and tired of talking about as well as you are because you're a fan, but I'm even sick and tired of talking about it because I just thought it was it's just an experience for me. It's just this team hasn't done this yet. They've not done it consistently yet. And you have to build tread on the tires sometimes. Yeah, all right, the Commanders did it last season, but they had a squad that had been there a bit. And now I do think, your team has got Milton Williams, Super Bowl winner last season. It has got guys that have been on runs, but not with Drake May. And that's the only, I just think in a way, I agree with you that your defense will cause the Texans more problems offensively but because I trust Drake May more. but the Texans defense is really good.
Yeah.
Like it is just that good for you to just, as a young quarterback who's not seen that or played against that this year, it could be a shit the bed moment for him. Like it really could.
Yeah, and the thing that was actually really weird about the Chargers game is that we passed it a lot, and Josh McDaniels is usually quite conservative in like not wanting. He doesn't mind if he doesn't get big yardage on the first 2 downs. I know Gareth and Eagles fans complain about that, but that was very a Tom Brady thing. Like, see how the first 2 downs go, then on 3rd down we'll go to Gronk and Edelman. Doesn't matter if it's a screen and a run, we'll get there. But last week, I think the nerves were everybody for us in the first half. It was only 6-3 at halftime. If it weren't for that Drake May big rush to get into field goal range, might have been a different halftime team talk. I think if we can run the ball on the Texans, again, it's an elite defense. But getting Henderson and Stevenson involved will be big. And I think, again, we said not household names, but the Texans, Woody Marks banged up, Collins out, Pat's weapons are healthy. Diggs didn't have a big game last week. He's going against a team that obviously he didn't re-sign with coming off his ACL injury. We've seen the Hunter Henry revenge game. So could be a Stephon Diggs one.
It could well be. It could well be. I think at this point, do
you reckon 1-score game? I think whatever happens, a 1-score game.
You know what it is, though? I do look at it, and when I'm looking at, yes, they haven't lost since week 10. Did concede 29 against the Jags. Did concede 20 against the Cardinals. Okay, all right. It's the Cardinals. They probably just gave up some points at the end. Did concede 21 to the Raiders. Did concede 30 to the Colts on the last game of the season.
There's not great offenses other than maybe the Jags.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the Colts were pretty good off. I know they had at that point. It was what's his name? Riley Leonard at quarterback, not but Riley Leonard getting 30 points on
that's not good.
On the Texans defense is not great for them, really. But it is a divisional game. Mad things can happen, that sort of thing. I would love nothing more than to see you guys go to the championship, because I think I would like that for Drake May, because I'm very, very big on Drake May and I'm very big on Mike Vrabel. I also am very big on D'Amico Ryans, and I am a bit more of a CJ Stroud guy, but I do understand that there is some drawback.
It's just been the regression, hasn't it? I mean, we were both so high on him in his rookie year.
Yeah.
I just think it's not been as bad as we've maybe seen historically in some quarterbacks regressions, because they're still in the playoffs. But yeah, there wasn't enough that I saw on that Monday night game against you guys to worry me offensively for them. I think this is the thing. It's the playoffs, so of course, we all know defense wins championships. The Texans' defense is unbelievable, but there is definitely more balance in terms of the Patriots team to cause problems on both sides of the ball. So that's where my optimism comes from. But my only thing, without jumping ahead, if we do make it, is I do think we probably lose whoever we play.
Yeah, so you can play the Bills or
Denver. I think going to Denver is tough, and I think Josh Allen, he did it last time. He loves playing in Gillette. I know we're at home, but I just can see like a walk-off field goal, like 24-21. I see us. I think we can squeeze through this week because of the Collins injury. I think that's big. But then, maybe that will be the step too far, because like you said, Vrabel got the Titans to a championship game with Ryan Tannehill. What's to stop him getting Drake May there? Because we'll probably, hopefully, touch wood, be back in the situation more times than less in years to come. I think this team is, when we look at that Titans team, who do we remember? Derrick Henry and AJ Brown. That's about it. I think this team is good enough to get to the AFC Championship game, but then that might be a step too far. But I'm still confident we'll win, but I think 1 score. Like you said, turnover. This could be a game like your game on Monday. There's going to be more turnovers in this one compared to the previous game we discussed.
Yeah, I think there's more. I think that's. I would feel very confident on that.
Yeah,
I could see there being 1 or 2 turnovers in the previous game, and I could see there being 4. in this game.
And if it's 3-1 either way, that's the difference.
That's the difference. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Texans. I do think it's just one step too far a little bit, and I've seen this Texans defense. They're so good. They're so good. They can just stop you. And I think your defense is decent. I just think, yeah, I'm going to side with the Texans on this one. As much as that probably pains you.
I'll cancel the flight. Yeah. No, I don't think. I think I managed to make. It's good that Adam's not here today, actually, because I actually got to vocalize, say all my points. I think they were not biased. I think looking at it objectively, just because of what happened last week and the injuries, I think we're good enough to win this week. It's next week that I'd be worried about.
Let's shift our focus over to the NFC side of things then, and we're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers going to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, we've just had two games where they've not played each other at all. This will be the third meeting of these teams this season. First week was week 1. Obviously, they're being in the NFC West together. The Seahawks at home lost 17-13. And then, of course, they played each other week 18, where the 49ers that were at home and lost 13-3. Niners beating the Eagles, obviously, last weekend, and the Seahawks on a bye. 49ers last time went to the division in 2023. They went to the Super Bowl and lost it under Shanahan. This is the 5th time to the divisional round since he arrived in 2017. On the flip side of it, this is the first round bye that Seattle have had since 2014. And what happened in 2014, Sky?
Oh, the Pat Seahawks Super Bowl.
They did.
A lot of people are predicting that, by the way. I've seen. I don't know if you've seen this. Sorry to say.
I just can't see that happening.
I can't either, but it seems to be the popular pick. I don't know. Nostalgia.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a bit of nostalgia with it, I suppose.
Brian McFadden, the old Steelers safety.
Yeah.
He said that on his video for one of the networks. I saw it earlier. Harry Kane said it, but he would. He's a Patriot.
What was Harry Kane know about anything, I suppose. This is a step too far for the 49ers, I'm afraid. And I do think Seattle is in a tiny bit of trouble in terms of, I think they are that young and they are a bit of a momentum team that the bye again has hindered them a little bit. I think they would have liked to have played last weekend. I think they would have liked to have dominated a game last weekend. It's been duck and dive with the Niners, isn't it? It's been scrappy, and I think you get Seattle into a scrappy fight, I think they win. I think they've got their defense is a scrappy defense, and the offense as well is scrappy as well. I mean, Kenneth Walker's no joke, Zach Charbonnet's no joke. They're two really good running backs. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba's really good, and they've got guys that are not. Cooper Kupp's a household name, but he's not been the Cooper Kupp we know. But AJ Barn at the tight end and players like that, Seahawks at the minute are my Super Bowl pick. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
I thought you're loving them.
I think they are fantastic, and I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Just say it. Just say it.
Do you know? I feel bad because obviously it would be a nice story for Sam Darnold if he won the Super Bowl, but Sam Darnold's not going to win the Super Bowl. Although Nick Foles, look, I just feel like every 10 years, and we are getting to that. I think we are 10 years, unfortunately, since the Eagles won that Super Bowl. Around that time, maybe it could happen because, like you said, the rest of that roster is so good. I agree with you that the Seahawks are going to win, but Shanahan, to drop only 3 points in week 18, I'm intrigued to see the game plan. Because that backup tight end's not bad. Tongas. I know he's no George.
Yeah. Because Kittle's out, isn't he? He's out.
I've bet on him a couple of times when Kittle's been out. That's the only reason I know that he's decent. I know he's no George Kittle, and I think that loses more from not the passing game, getting McCaffrey open by Kittle being such the elite blocker that he is. But they've done it all season. I'm actually loving... My dream Super Bowl is Patriots 49ers.
Okay.
That is what I would... of course, it being my team. And I just think the job that Shanahan's done when guys like Eric Kendricks have been signed, and obviously he was great in his time, but to join a new team and be starting linebacker, we're down to 4/5 now on, strings on this team. I don't see it happening, but I also really like Brock Purdy. And I don't know, I don't want to say that I don't like the Seahawks because I love what they're building, but
you don't like Sam Darnold. Just say it. Say it with your chest if you're going to say it.
Yeah, I just don't think, unless you're an elite quarterback, I don't want you winning a Super Bowl. We're in this thing with Jalen Hurts now. I forever have to hear that Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And you'll get people like Gareth who will forever remind us of that.
But so is Nick Foles, so is Joe Flacco.
Remind me of Nick Foles again.
But they are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. And
Joe Flacco, you've given him slack before. I like Joe.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You talk about a quarterback getting carried by a defense. Come on. let's behave ourselves there.
I just don't think, but my biggest hope, if I look at it, because I don't have anything against Seattle as a franchise, Grey's Anatomy, great show as well. Let's hope Sam Darnold learned from last year's playoffs, because we saw what happened in that Vikings-Lions game.
I think that the Vikings-Lion matchup is totally different to this matchup, though.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously,
Seattle's defense is better than Minnesota's Vikings defense last year. Yeah, I would say. Detroit are a way better
they were powerhouse last year. Yeah.
Than San Francisco are at this point. San Francisco are so injured. And don't you think maybe the bag of tricks got pulled out a little bit early against Philadelphia?
I agree. I think it was just that point where they're that banged up.
Yeah, they've got to do something. Yeah.
Let's see if he does it again. But yeah, I mean, the Seahawks defense, it just doesn't look like it can be beaten. But Trent Williams is expected to play.
Big gap.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying his name. Ricky Pearsall. I think he's due a big playoff game, even if they lose.
You're loving it. It's the Patriot white receiver in the playoffs thing that you're just like. I saw Chisholm have a good play in that Chargers game, and I was like, "There we go. There's the small white receiver that Sky and every other Patriots fan I know always goes on about."
But I still lean towards Seattle. I just think and it is interesting that we talk about the teams in terms of, I think they've become committee of running backs. Now we move towards a running back position being valued again. There's a lot of teams who've done well this season who have valued the position by having two good running backs. And Seattle have done that really well. It's been a breakout year for Charbonnet, really, hasn't it? We've been waiting for this. And he's taken the pressure off of Kenneth Walker so that he doesn't need to be an every down back. And that is going to be...
Also, first time Walker's been, fit all year.
Yeah. But that's managed to be okay, you can get healthy and then we'll make it work. And you were saying about Cooper Kupp, but again, we talk about, the George Kittle loss on the Niners. For a lot of, people don't see it, but Cooper Kupp, a receiver who's happy to block.
He did that happy to put in the dirty yards. Yeah.
He doesn't need to be getting, 8 targets a game. He was happy to take a step back and let Nakua be the guy because he probably knew that his role was dwindling. But he's come to obviously Seattle and he's helped. Think of all the stuff that he's probably done for JSN behind the scenes for him to have the season that he's had. So he'll be in his ear for this playoff game as well, given what he's done and that Super Bowl winning run. I think Seahawks win. And then very dangerous to say, this is probably the one of the 4 which could be the blowout for me.
Really? Yeah. I was literally about to say to you, I think this might be an absolutely rough, a real rough watch.
But
could easily be 16 to 16-10 or 13-9, something ridiculous like that.
I think that the Niners will score more. They have to score more than 3 last time, but I think it could be that obviously they've also historically in history in general, but historically of this season, they played each other week 1 and week 18. But they're not normal game weeks, are they? They are not, and it's a divisional game. So you play yourself week 1.
anything can happen, and it's a divisional game. It was 17-13. And then you play each other week 18. 49ers have got an eye at looking at the playoffs, want to stay a little bit healthy. Seattle are wanting that first round bye, but they also quite expectantly don't want to get anyone hurt either, because they know they can probably make a really good run. Like, we've not had like a normal game. There's not been a week 10 game here, has that? It's not like a. No. I know you've got momentum going into week 18. I know that, but it's a very. All eyes were on that game. All eyes were on 3 games that weekend, and that was it. And one of them was that game.
That game was a bit overhyped in the sense of, oh my God, it's 1 seed and for the division. Like you said, like once the Niners couldn't get things going, they probably thought, now what's happened with Kittle? Let's not get one of our stars hurt, which obviously happened in another game. What I just mean is in that, of course, if we get to this round, blowouts are rare. We didn't have one last week other than your game, which I don't even think should count. I know it is on the scoreboard, but like we said, for 3 quarters, the Steelers were in it. So it probably won't happen this weekend. I just more think that that's how good this Seahawks team is. That's how balanced they are, in that Sam Darnold in this game won't... I probably might get proven wrong in this game because he won't have to do everything because the Niners are so banged up.
Yeah.
Seahawks defense might be able to take over. We know what the atmosphere is like at their stadium. I'm sure I saw something that their home playoff record is ridiculous. I think they lost in COVID when there were no fans, but generally speaking, like
they're like unbeaten for.
I was gonna say, it's like someone said it was 10-0, and then someone in the comments pulled up a game from the early 2000s and
really?
COVID.
Okay.
So maybe it's like 10-2 since the start of the millennium or something.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and if you think about it, because the year that they made the Super Bowl, lost to us and won it, they've always been quite good on those runs, even if they've not been in it a lot. But yeah, I just think I hate to say it, but I think the Seahawks will do it. And I only say hate because I do just love what Shanahan's done with such a banged up team.
Final game that we'll be chatting about, and that is the final of the NFC games, which is the LA Rams going to the Chicago Bears. Not played each other this year. Rams beating the Panthers and the Bears beating the Packers, as we said earlier. The Rams went to the divisional last season, obviously lost to the Eagles. We watched that game together. We sort of spoke about it last week, last show as well. It was a game in snow. We were really, 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 really rooting for the Rams. Didn't happen. We were in Brewdog in Waterloo with a couple of, our friends, one of them's a friend of yours that you've known for a very, very, very long time. One of them's a mutual friend of ours now within the NFL media world. And it was, it was good fun. We had a good night that night, didn't we? This is the 5th time they've been to the divisional under the McVay tenure, which obviously started in 2017. I say obviously a lot. I do need to stop doing that. First time the Bears have been in the divisional since 2010, and that was under Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith or Lovie Smith? And who did they lose that to? They are in the playoffs.
What year?
2010.
The Packers.
No, they lost to the Seahawks, 35-24.
I was thinking, when you get the years confused between the seasons and the years.
This, I think, if you want to call it this, is the upset game.
But the Bears winning is the upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've sold my Rams stock personally around week 16. Week 15, week 16. They're just not the dominant force that we saw in London against the Jags and on that little run there. And I think the Bears have just got a bit of a touch of magic about them and don't seem to be doing much wrong at the minute. Like you look at it and like DeAndre Swift, journeyman, Monungai, 7th round pick. They've got 3 wide receivers who are all top 15 plus picks. I I say, well, Loveland, do you want to include in that as well?
Yeah,
No,
Loveland,
was
Burden, Luther Burden, DJ Moore.
and Romeo Dunze. Roma
Dunze, yeah.
Dunze. Sorry, Roma Dunze, not Roma.
Very. Every time I always do that, Roma, I start thinking of So Solid Crew. I don't know. But yeah.
I do believe Rams offense, like the Rams offense is amazing. And I think their front eight is really good. I don't think their front eight has been as dominant as we were talking about mid-season. And I think the cornerback and safety play is not great. And actually, that is a massive advantage for the Bears. I mean, well, but what's the Bears? Bears are 10th in passing yards this year and 10th in passing touchdowns. Don't turn over the ball either. They've had 7 interceptions. Caleb, for all Caleb is said, all is said and done about Caleb Williams, he does not turn the ball over. Like, he just doesn't.
No. And that 4th and 8 against the Packers was like the demoralizing one, like throw of a lifetime. Obviously, I'm quite happy and smug about that. You've not actually been critical compared to, say, Adam or maybe even Andrew a bit about Caleb Williams. Yeah. Obviously, it's a classic case of Ben Johnson.
I think I've always been a bit of a fence sitter with him.
Yeah, which I think was the fair approach to take. And I probably went more the other way because of other people saying that they were. I was just like, he's got a lot of talent there. And yeah, it's been good to see. And I think this Bears team is probably the team. I'm going to say 2 contradictory things here. Out of the 8 teams remaining, the Bears are the one you can never rule out because of all the comebacks, right? They've had throughout the season. However, I still think the Rams are the best team in the remaining 8. And maybe I'm using bias from the start of the year. I agree with your point about the secondary. But obviously, while it's not perfect, Kobe Turner's had a great year. They've got Jared Verse, Byron Young, Braden Fisk. Like, there are guys there.
He's nasty. Not Linderbaum, because Tyler Linderbaum's a center for the Ravens. Tyler Nate Boom, the middle linebacker who got extended.
They've got playmakers. Chris Schuler, obviously son of Mr. Don. He's been doing very, very well. And I think that's allowed McVay to focus more on the offense. Do you
think there's rumbling? They can't interview him just yet, can they? Or can they interview you when you're in a playoff?
You can invite them for an interview.
Do you think that disturbs them in any way? Because he's on a lot of head coaching candidacy lists.
I think normally yes, but no, because it's Sean McVay and because of who his dad is. If that's weird to say, because he's probably been around football his whole life. Like, I know a lot of these coaches have because they start from, but I mean, I don't think he's even 40, Chris Schuler, and he's grown up probably. And it's a different NFL to when his dad was coaching, but I think he probably is able to block out that noise, and McVay wouldn't allow that. Chris Schuler's not doing what Nakua was doing and jumping on Aiden Ross streams, and I think he's safe to focus on his job for a couple more weeks. This is a tough one to call. I do agree with you.
You love the Nakua Adams duo.
You
love it.
Feed Rams families, fans of the Rams, feed them and their families for generations. It's unbelievable. But I don't want. Do you know what? The schedule's been mentioned, so I will drop it in there. Matt Stafford has stat padded a bit with these red zone touchdowns, but he can because they're both so bloody good. That's the thing. Like, we know they might throw it on the goal line, but who's going to stop them? And I just think that the Rams remind me a lot of painful, because we're going to circle back to the Nick Foles thing. Those playoffs, the Eagles squeaky bum time past the Falcons and to get through in the first round, I think it was. The Rams overcoming the Panthers, especially with that like dagger to the heart drive. I think that gives you confidence to go, we could go all the way now.
We can beat these, yeah.
Yeah. And there's never been a Super Bowl with 2 wildcard teams. And I am leaning towards this big possibility. Never happened. And I think Rams Bills, if there's ever 2 in recent years where we've looked, it's possible. And
Do you think there's any validity in the argument of it's in Chicago, it's outside, they're from LA, it's freezing cold?
No, because Matt Stafford. Again, you know what I'm going to say, that because
Yeah,
they've been playing Detroit.
And they're Devontae Adams in Green Bay.
Didn't even. Yeah, exactly. I just think it's not a typical. I think you could say that about the Chargers, which we saw them coming to Gillette. I think that played a factor. But I don't.
Chicago's going to be rocking. Like Soldier Field is going to be insane for this game.
They are quite. It is obviously it's a very similar situation to the Patriots in terms of like different head coaching style, but first year head coach, second year quarterback. It just shows what happens if you get that right. So they're going to be in with a chance, but I just think we've seen that there was since Stafford joined the Rams, he's had 4 comeback wins. I think in the playoffs, fourth quarter and overtime. The only person with more is Mahomes with 6. So I think again, if it's a 1-score game, I've found, as much as I like Caleb and I've talked him up, and I think he will have a good game. Ben Johnson will call a good game. It's basically the battle of the comeback kings. Really, Stafford's done that a lot throughout his career and battled adversity. It could be one of those where it's literally who's got the ball last. It's not going to be a Trevor Lawrence situation where it's going to be a turnover with 1:10 left. It's going to be whoever's got the ball last. You're probably confident they're going to go and score. So time of possession is probably more important than the turnover battle in this one.
I'm going to side with a little bit like with the Pats game. I think it might be just a step too far for the Bears this year.
Yeah.
And actually, the Rams offense and as much as I've just played down their defense is still really good. And I just think their offenses are pretty similar in terms of they're both very good offenses. I just think I believe in the Rams defense more than I do in the Bears defense at this point in time. And I just think that might be the deciding factor. That just might be. So I'm gonna side the Rams. And I would like to see the Rams go to the challenge. I mean, what's that for me then? That's a Rams Hawks NFC Championship. And for me, it would be a Texans Bills AFC Championship. And then yours would be a Bills Pats AFC Championship.
I wonder when was the last time that there were both
2 divisions. Yeah. That's a good point.
Let's see if I can quickly find out. Well, one of us.
No, if you're on the computer, it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I definitely would like to know.
Let's find out. But yeah, I do. I mean, the weather was a very good point. I do think it still probably affects some of the players and the atmosphere. But see, it's telling me Commanders Eagles last year. We know that, but I'm trying to say in the same season from both sides. Yeah.
Well, you have a little screw through, and I'll get us all signed out here. So anyway, Sky, thank you very much for joining me for the divisional preview episode this evening, and thank you guys for either watching, which you can do on YouTube, where you can also subscribe. Make sure you like our videos, or listen on any podcast platforms, and make sure you subscribe there as well. Make sure you catch us on social media as well. Again, all platforms. Check out our content, give us a follow. It'd be much appreciated. Keep an eye on our stuff because we have the betting show coming this weekend with Adam and Andrew. The eyes have just flickered at me. Have you got an answer?
Well, it says pre-2002, since 2002, it hasn't happened.
Wow, okay.
In the modern, I say 2002 because there was a realignment of divisions. So
the modern NFL era, they'll call it.
In the modern NFL era, the one that I've got here is 1980. Oakland Raiders, Chargers.
Cool.
And Cowboys, Eagles. I have a feeling the Raiders won it that season as a wild card. Yeah.
Good history.
I have a feeling.
You are the historian. I am the modern man. But thank you again, Sky, for joining me, and good luck to your New England Patriots as well.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for listening or watching. Enjoy this divisional round weekend, and then on to the championship, and then on to that Super Bowl in San Francisco. Thank you again, and we'll see you all very soon.